This video is part of the Good Intentions Stitch Along series by Chrissy Crafts. Other videos are available in the series. Thanks for watching and happy stitching! Time to do some greenery. We're going to do the fly stitch to do these little green fronds of fern-like leaves here. So you want to get 2 strands of green embroidery floss, and I've put a knot on the end of mine because I don't want to waste knot here because I'm going to have so much greenery and flowers going on. I don't need to hide anything. I don't mind if there's a knot on the back. So as you can see from the original one I did, everything just kind of starts like the bottom quarter. So I might start up by the words here. I'll do the first one on the white bit of fabric so you could see it a bit more clearly, and then as I go I can overlap on the on the brown twigs. And the nice thing with this is that you do a few and you can always add, you can always come back to it. Once we get more flowers and more greenery and more things happening, you can always come back and add some more, cover up some. It's very, very forgiving and creative. It's up to you how many you do and what you make them look like. So let me show you how to do the fly stitch. I'm going to start by doing 1 straight stitch. Let's go right here. To be the tip of my frond. And then you bring the needle up on the left-hand side of that straight stitch. I'm going to go about halfway up and quite close for this one. Fly stitch is very adaptable stitch, so I'll show you how to do it for this, and then you can adapt it from there to suit. Then I'm going to go down parallel on the opposite side of that straight stitch. Oops. And then before I pull it taut, I'm going to bring the needle up at the base of that first straight stitch. So you see right where I ended that, it's going to come back up again, and what that will do is pull that stitch into a V. It's holding it down here rather than making it go straight. And then I will make a second straight stitch going down. And there you see the first stitch, the V, and the second stitch. Now again, I'm going to come up on the left. I'm going to go out a little bit wider with this one, just a little bit. But I'm going to keep it quite close right now. And again, down on the opposite side. Then up at the base of the previous stitch. Second one. Another straight stitch. Now just to show you some variations, I'm going to take that even a little bit further out than the previous one. Just show you what it looks like when it's getting wider. See, it's getting bigger. Now the ways you can vary this, you can make these V's much closer together. You just make a shorter stitch. So instead of coming down a lot, I just come down a little bit to make a very small straight stitch, or a smaller one. And then I'll come up again close to that previous one. So the spacing is a little bit closer than that. Of course, I could make the very small stitch, have them almost side by side. You might have to hold down the twiggy bits if they're very loose. It's fine to just stitch into them. the very little base of that previous stitch. You can see they're closer together that way. So it's kind of free for you to interpret. You can see here, these are kind of evenly spaced. Some of them I left a little gap there, kind of like if you find a fern in the garden that has some leaves broken off. It doesn't matter really, you could just play around. Those ones I did a little bit closer. And if, like me, this annoys you a bit, having some that are further apart and closer, I'll just cover that up with a flower down the line or something else. It doesn't look too bad right now, but then you can easily curve this as well if you wanted to, with the straight stitches. As you go along, then just kind of curve the leaves as necessary, so that'll go a little bit closer, but this one might go a little further away as if it's starting to bend. This will be a bit of an extreme way to show you. Suddenly a bend like that. This one gets shorter because it's curving and the other side gets longer. It's just to illustrate the ways you can play with this stitch and get different results. And this is the type of sampler that you could do that. You could make different sizes of fronds. You could use different shades of green. You could have them spaced like this with this green. Then I could take a darker green or a much lighter green and make one that's very, very close together leaves, and it could just be a different plant. But feel free to play around with it, and like I've always said, if you don't like it, snip it out. It's just some thread and a needle. It's easy enough to correct or cover it up. But I really think it's an easy, fast, and very pretty way to add some greenery. And here's where I'm going to leave it for now until I get some flowers and other little bits added in. Next time we'll start doing the roses. Happy stitching!